I would like to introduce to you one of my 3 works in progress. It is a secondary world fantasy, and it has a lot of exciting world building, and if I do say so myself, it's a really good story. Or at least it will be once I get to like draft 15 or something. I already have draft 1 of this story, but I am making some pretty significant changes to it, so I feel like this is a good story for you to get to follow along from now on. So I'm going to be putting up videos about this story every once in a while, and it will be a healthy mix of world building, of plotting, and writing, and editing, and whatever else I need to do with the story to make it as good as it can be. So let's get into actually, introducing you to the story. The story came to me in a dream, as many of my other stories do, and it always feels kind of weird to say that because it feels like people aren't going to take it seriously, which is a weird feeling because I know that I'm not the only writer out there who gets ideas from dreams. So, yeah. Do you also get ideas from dreams? Let me know below that I am not alone and that it is a perfectly valid way of getting ideas, which I know it is, but it's always nice to hear it from other people too. Anyway, the dream I had was inspired by an anime I was watching at the time, an anime called Inuyasha, if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, you should, because it's an amazing anime. The dream gave me a concept, it gave me some characters, and it gave me an event. The concept is a pretty minor part of the story now. The characters have changed a fair bit from who they were in my dream, and the event is still important, but it is it's sort of a catalyst. It's not the event that sets up the entire story, but it's a very important piece of background, I guess I would say. The elevator pitch to this story I have shared before. If you haven't heard it, I will repeat it now. Vengeful spirits are appearing all over the land, and a shapeshifter priest of an unknown god sets out to stop them. If you've heard it before, you may have noted that I changed empire into land, which is... I have my reasons. I'm not going to get to that. The story follows Ylva, who is a Vala, or a priest, and she's also a shapeshifter. She can turn into a lynx. Valas in this world are chosen by their deity, and there are almost an infinite number of deities in this world, and you know which one chose you based on a rune, but the rune for Ylva's deity is unknown, both to her and to everyone else, so no one has any clue who that deity is, and that means that they have never chosen a Vala before. Probably. Like most Valas, Ylva travels around the world to do her duty, which is, performing ceremonies, helping people, lifting curses, and banishing spirits. And these spirits, as mentioned in the elevator pitch, are becoming more and more frequent, are appearing more and more frequently. This is a problem because vengeful spirits, they cause damage, and they are very bad, and they're also a sign that the balance of the world isn't quite right. And since Ylva has an idea about who might be behind this, she and some of her friends set out to do something about it. So I plotted and wrote the first draft of this story in the fall of 2020, but now I am making some very big changes to the setting. Originally, I set this story in a world inspired by Japanese folklore, because the anime Inuyasha is inspired by Japanese folklore, and the story is inspired by a dream that was inspired by that anime, so it just sort of made sense to me to write it that way. So I did that in the first draft, and it was okay. Nothing majorly wrong with it, but for various reasons that are too complicated and irrelevant to get into here, I want to change it from a world inspired by Japanese folklore into a world that is inspired by Old Norse folklore. And to be clear, this is not including the Old Norse gods, Odin and Thor and Loki and all of those entities. I am keeping them out of the story because they're everywhere, and I want to explore what the culture would have looked like with a different religion. There are a bunch of other differences as well, but the religion is the, big one, in a way. Anyway, I have spent the past couple of weeks re-world building a bit, doing some research on clothes and weapons and architecture and things like that, and realizing that I need to refresh my memory quite a bit because I've known a lot about this. Obviously, this is, the history of my culture. I have studied that a fair bit in school, and so I have some knowledge, but a lot of it is focused on the religion, on the gods and goddesses and all of that. And since I'm not using that, I need to refresh my mind on the other details. And this is also the reason why I've removed the word empire, because we didn't have empires around here, so it didn't really make sense to me to create one in this world either. I've also changed all of the names of all of the places and people in the story, and I have substituted a lot of the myths and creatures that I've used in the previous version, and the funny thing is that a lot of them work so much better in this new setting that I've created, which I can only attribute to the fact that I was pulling from my own knowledge of mythology, which I know a fair bit about Japanese mythology, but I grew up with Nordic mythology, so I do know that much better, so I guess I put a lot of that into the story even when I wasn't intending to. The most fun I have had with the world building so far, though, is creating a rune alphabet. That has been... I've just really, really loved doing that, and I'm gonna actually have a video up on how I did that a little later, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see that, as well as many other videos about this story, like I said before. So I had a lot of fun with the world building, but then I decided that I was about to get stuck in it and just world build and not write anything, so I've also reread the story now, with focus on world building that need to change and events that need to change based on the changes of the setting. I've also looked at some large holes in the story where I skipped a bunch of stuff, and I have put as much as I could of the world building and the events and the characters and all of that into World Anvil, so I have it all in one place in the beginning when I start writing the story, and not after a while when I realized that, oh, this would have been good to have. So that's going to be exciting. As I read through this story also, I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is a really, really good story. It's been a long time since I felt this confident about a story this early in the process for it. And I am so excited to keep working on this and to finish it, hopefully, soon. I will say that I absolutely hate the working title for this project. I'm calling it Demon Girl because that fit with the original idea, but since a lot of things have changed, the girl in question is no longer a demon. She's a priest. She fights demons, and no one considers her a demon, and it just doesn't make sense. But I haven't come up with anything that is better, or anything that, I don't know, maybe I've come up with things that are better, but they just don't feel any more right than this does. I don't know. Either way, I'm having problems, so, if anyone has any ideas of working titles that would work based on this description, please leave them below. Otherwise, I hope you are looking forward to hearing about this world as much as I am looking forward to reading it and sharing things about it, so look forward to that. Thank you for watching, be safe, I will see you next time.